Welcome back, everyone, to the Drop Frames 2016 Game of the Year show. Before we get to the Game of the Year, though, you might be wondering where my co-hosts are. They're over actually on our other set there with Twitch community manager Aaron Wayne. They're going to ask her all the hard questions about IRL. And because, you know, we want to maintain some integrity, me and Aurelian happen to be dating. I don't want to ask my girlfriend some hard-hitting questions, and I shouldn't ask her some hard-hitting questions because you guys, you know, the audience, kind of lose a little bit of faith in the show. So we're going to let Coh and Zeke handle that. So without further ado, Coh, why don't you go and take it away?
Great. Well, hello, everyone. It's great to see you guys again. We are here with Aaron Wayne, the community manager for Twitch.tv. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And we've got some questions here, some notes that we'd like to ask you about Twitch IRL.
Sure.
The first question I'd kind of like to ask is Twitch dead? Or is it growing, evolving? Is this a test, or is this kind of a site of things to come?
Yeah, so Twitch is definitely not dead. It's not going anywhere. To give you some baseline stats, you have kind of an idea of where we are right now. We have about 10 million daily users. We have 2 million unique broadcasters, and we're now over 17,000 partners, which, as you guys know, is us continuing to grow and to evolve and to become bigger. This is, as Twitch has always been, a response to our community, right? The great thing about Twitch is that when our platform evolves, it evolves out of the need and responses that we get from the community. So we talked to our users, we talked to our broadcasters, we talked to our partners, and we surveyed them and said, what do you guys want? What do you see? And it was an overwhelming response saying that they wanted to see the addition of non-gaming content to Twitch, specifically from the creator standpoint. They wanted to share their vlog-like content. And so IRL was formed as a response to that.
So, okay. Just bare bones, so we can get this, we get some place to start from. Sure. What is IRL to you?
So, to Twitch.
To Twitch, yeah.
To Twitch. So, IRL is a way for you to share your vlog-style content, your interactive content with your community. So, whereas you were limited before by gaming, like inspired content, or if you were creative or music or whatever, IRL is a response for you to be able to break out of that a little bit, as long as you're interacting with your community and share that experience.
It's content that they have, or you could create content that they have created a category for, because like cooking,
right?
Like that is not, you know, a gaming content.
Correct. Yeah.
Per se. So they were adding like little social eating, cooking, and stuff like that. Yeah. They were adding little tabs here and there. But would you say that IRL like is kind of an umbrella for all of that?
It's an umbrella for that, but it's also opening it up a little bit more, right? We all know that gamers, with like you mentioned with cooking, right? We're gamers, and Twitch is built from gamers, but we don't sit at our computers and game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And so this is a way for you to engage with your community outside of when you're not playing video games, right? We go out in real life, which is what IRL is, right? We go out in real life, we do things, we have experiences that we want to share, and we see a lot of our broadcasters are completely dynamic, right? Some broadcasters are really into fitness, some of them are really into cooking, some of them are really into traveling, and we wanted to be able to give them a way to share that with their community on the platform that they already enjoy sharing their content on.
Okay. Big question, the biggest as far as the Twitter responses and all that stuff goes. Is Twitch coming full circle and turning back into Justin TV? And you're going to say no, obviously.
Yeah.
You're going to say no, but why no?
Yeah. So you guys brought up a really good point in your intro, because I was peeping, seeing you guys were talking about. You brought up a really good point. When Justin TV was started, it was somebody who was just vlogging every day, right? Justin TV was a way for people to just put whatever content that they wanted out there. And Twitch distinguished itself by being interactive, right? That's like the main component of what this is. And we're not going back to Justin TV where you can just put dash cams or like cams up in your house and just leave them going 24 hours a day, right? That's the main difference of what Justin and what Twitch are. So what we're adding the ability to do is for you to be able to vlog and interact with your community. You have to be interactive, and it has to engage your community in order for it to be considered IRL content. So no, we're not going back to Justin TV. There is a big difference, in interactivity and involving your community is the main difference.
That was honestly my first, like, everybody has knee-jerk reactions when they hear news like that. My first question to you last night when I got here was, so it's going to be like security cameras. I can have like 4 of them in my house and just have them going all the time, and I can just walk around and cook and do laundry or whatever the hell.
No, if you want to cook or you want to do laundry, you can do that as long as you're like engaging with your community, right? But you can't just like stagnant put cameras up in your house and leave them going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So
that's not what this is.
In that same line with a lot of like what we called earlier, kind of the purists, the gaming purists, is Twitch still retaining its gaming focus, or is gaming still a big part of the whole puzzle?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we kind of had this conversation as well, where we know again that gamers have a lot of things that they're interested in, right? I think the core of what people come to Twitch for is gaming. It's what we are, and we add in these categories as people request them and as our users are saying, hey, this is how I want to utilize Twitch, which is when we launched creative a little over a year ago, and then we added cooking, and now we had music was our very first one, right? And so we're adding these categories as people request the need from them and as we see that desire from our community. But I think at the focus, if you go to our directory right now, it's mostly gaming, right? It's that, and I don't think Twitch anticipates that changing. I think this is just a way to supplement that content and for us to be able to add in the ability for you to share other things with your community.
Now, that kind of brings us to an interesting question, because IRL is a very dangerous place, and there's all sorts of things that can go on in IRL that may not be Twitch friendly.
Correct.
There were some hints at the code of conduct having some changes.
Yep.
What exactly are those, and kind of what was the thinking behind that?
So our code of conduct is now referred to as our community guidelines, right? And the community guidelines were changed first and foremost to change the things saying that you couldn't have non-gaming content. So that's the biggest change, other than the name being now our community guidelines. Now the fact that you can have non-gaming content. And because we have non-gaming content, we had to add in a few stipulations about things that you were able to do. So the first one always involves we always say you can't have anything that breaks DMCA, right? So can you stream videos, movies, sports events? We added all of the kind of requirements around that and what you were allowed to do. And we added some rules in as well about what that means for IRL, right? So we've always said you have to make sure that you are not doing anything that causes self-harm. You can't do anything that incites physical violence. All of those types of things are now also included in that to surface the whole umbrella of what IRL is, right? To cover all of those different things. So you'll see all of those additions as well.
So how would I stream content in IRL without breaking the TOS? Would I just want to go over it all first, or how do you guys recommend it?
I mean, definitely you always want to make sure that you know what the community guidelines are, that you know what our terms of service are, and you're making sure that you follow all of those, right? The biggest thing that you should always make sure that you're looking at when you're wanting to stream IRL is the content interactive with your community, right? So a great example is seminars or things like that. Those aren't interactive, and you can stream them as long as you then set it to not playing. So if you want to stream that content, you can, as long as IRL is not meant for just a other category where I'm not gaming, so I'm going to throw it in IRL. There is a very specific set of things that you should have in IRL. If it's not already listed in the gaming category, there's not a category set, the safest bet is to put it under not playing.
Now that brings up the next question is, you said that having a live camera up in your house 24 hours a day,
right,
as long as you're not breaking TOS, the nudity, the violence or whatever the hell.
Right.
Can I set up a camera 24/7 and just put it under not playing?
That is a great question. I mean, in theory, as long as it's not breaking your TOS, it's not breaking terms of service, it's not breaking our community guidelines, the answer would be it's okay to put in not playing. But again, make sure that you are looking at specifically what you're doing, because my concern with something like that would be when you have a camera up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what's happening
You're still
in
responsible
there?
for
You're still
every
100% responsible for every second of content.
Well, sure.
That you're
No. I mean,
there.
we've all heard or seen about the TOS breaking accidents that have happened.
Right.
We've all seen that. But as long as if it's just a camera on my gerbil, 24 hours a day, and it every once in a while feed him, give him water and stuff like that. But that's it. It's just gerbil TV all day, every day.
Gerbil talk.
I'm just saying, what? I mean, can I put that under not playing? Because I don't think a gerbil can break TOS.
As long as it adheres to the community guidelines and not breaking the DMCA guidelines and all of that, then I would say that it would be safe. As long as you're following everything that's preset.
And just to be clear, for those that haven't used this functionality too much, can you kind of talk a little bit about the not playing function? When you go to select a game, you just kind of don't put anything in there.
You can actually, so when you drop it down, there is actually when it says playing, and then you can select your game. You can actually select not playing, and it will remove you from the directory. It's not searchable.
People that are following you still see.
People that are following you will still see.
No public
if they click on following, it'll show you as being live in their following directory. But if someone just goes to Twitch and they're viewing every content and all the streams, it's not going to show up there.
Yeah. So if you have 100,000 people watching you and you're not playing, you will not be on
Correct.
the front
Correct.
of the directory.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, you've kind of answered this, but it's on the list. So let's what can't I broadcast on IRL?
You can't broadcast anything, obviously, that breaks the community guidelines, that
Right.
breaks DMCA. You also have to be really careful about, I know there's a lot of questions and people are saying like, well, can I just replace what I would do like with Periscope? Can I stream anything that I want, right? So again, I'm going to like say this 100 times. Make sure that you're looking at the community guidelines. There are a lot of things in there that you can't.
Where do you find those?
You can go to twitch.tv and look at our community guidelines. It's one of the links on the side.
Links on the side.
Yeah. So you can't stream anything that would give away someone's personal information. You can't just like pull up like Twitter accounts or Facebook pages and like start streaming that. You can't give away any of personal information, no, doxing, no giving away any of that information. You can't stream anything that's copyrighted, so you can't just like start pulling up movies and being like, I'm gonna watch this movie with my stream and put it in IRL. You can't do that.
But that's one thing I wanted to ask you. What if it's like public domain stuff?
Then you would be able to do that as long as you are interactive. You're providing commentary
Like MST3K.
on something.
Well, because
right.
that's how I got into Justin TV the first time.
Yeah.
Was I had a dumb little show that I called Flick You, and it was me. It was me watching movies and commenting like Mystery Science Theater, and they knocked me out because it was copyrighted material.
Right.
But I could bring it back as long as it's
Right.
Public domain stuff, public domain movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Wow, all right.
nothing that
Interesting.
nothing that is again incites physical violence. Nothing that's breaking any of your.
So I couldn't, for instance, stream myself going down the street and messing with strangers and trying to goad them into a fight.
No harassment, no any of that. I think one of the
just
biggest,
a prank, bro.
Because I do
Not
that for
just a prank.
fun. So I'd love to stream it.
I think that one of the biggest things, like what I've kind of seen people's knee-jerk reaction is like, I can just stream anything now, and it's like, no. We still have all of our rules of conduct now called community guidelines. Those are all still there. We still want to protect our users. We still want to protect our broadcasters. We still want to make sure that there are parameters around what is and what is not allowed on the site. So this isn't just like a free-for-all, like I can stream anything as long as I'm in real life and walking down the street. You
and
can't,
interacting.
Right, exactly. You can't interact and say like, someone, in the chat tell me to go do something that breaks the rules. Like that's not okay. Don't do that. But yeah.
I thought you wanted community, Aaron.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh God, there was something that brought up completely, and now it's gone. I forgot. Go ahead, Nick. You do the next.
We can go back to it later.
Yeah.
So some other notes I wrote down here are sports that involve like physical contact. Let's say like MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So,
now, what if it's like a training session?
Sure.
Or two people fighting and they're talking about it during the fight?
Yeah. Listen, I love MMA. I'm a huge MMA fan. I've said that. My brother is an MMA fighter. So again, the thing is as long as it's interactive with the community, as long as you're interacting with your users, and as long as it doesn't break anything, right? So you're not walking up to someone being like, this is an MMA fight, and you instigate something like, that's not okay.
Like, huh?
Yeah, that's not okay.
Surprise MMA.
Yeah, no, that's not okay. But if it's an instructional thing, we know that there are a lot of broadcasters, I can think some off the top of my head, that are really into physical fitness.
Yeah,
and they
like
want to be able
jiu-jitsu and things
right,
like that,
jiu-jitsu or weightlifting or boxing or whatever, and we want them to be able...
Bajira,
Yeah, Bajira, absolutely.
He's thrilled about this.
Yeah, so we want them to be able to share those experiences with their community. If they're coming in and saying like, hey guys, I want to show you what a day, me doing that looks like, pull out your phone, be able to, broadcast that again, as long as you're in the parameters. We don't want you filming in public spaces with people who haven't provided their consent.
Yes.
I just wrote that down. That was the thing I forgot.
Yep,
Getting people to sign releases.
Right.
Can I walk down the street?
So you are as a broadcaster responsible for whatever it is that you have on your stream, right? You are ultimately responsible for that. And you can't walk into a private space or a public space and just say like, well, I'm going to broadcast now, right? You need to make sure that the people involved know that, and you're not, again, giving away any private information. People are aware that what they're doing, the same thing that you would have, in any other type of forum or recording or live stream. Those still are applicable to IRL.
Okay.
But if it's you, and I'm me, and I'm at my home gym, or I'm doing whatever it is, and it's just me, and I am the focus of the content. That's the difference between IRL and just filming, is I am the focus of the content, and I am interacting with my community. I'm not just like flipping the camera around and being like, I'm going to show you all this stuff, because then the focus isn't on you as a broadcaster.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main difference.
And that actually brings up the point of, because I mean, if I had a chance to go see, I don't know, name a band, and they're really excited about it, I take my phone with a new streaming app or whatever, and tell me the parameters for that. Like,
does it break DMCA guidelines?
No.
Oh.
No, but what?
It doesn't?
Well, actually, if you go see a live band.
And you're playing, it depends. Are you playing copyrighted music, videos, TV? Is it subject to DMCA guidelines? I can't answer that because I don't know the form in which that specific band is.
Copyrighted music is okay to play as long as you're not, because it gets flagged on Twitch. But if I'm at a concert and it's going on live, and I'm sitting there like the camera's on me, the band's behind me, and I'm like, I'm here at Radiohead, and I'm having a great time. How you doing? Oh, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
But I'm talking in chat the whole time, but the concert's going on and stuff like that. Because I can't wait to see like the gray areas that people try to touch on.
And that's where like there are so many questions that I would have about that specific situation. Like, are you playing copyrighted music? Do you have the consent of the person? Are you showing anyone else in the background? Like, there's so many things that you as a broadcaster would have to analyze in that given situation. And my answer to you is, as long as it doesn't break our terms of service, our community guidelines, as long as everything is kosher and you're interacting, yeah, you can stream it under IRL.
So to go on a little bit of a tangent here, because I'm sure IRL is going to introduce a lot of gray area.
Yeah.
A lot of gray area.
Yes.
And this is going to be the kind of thing where a stream can go from okay to not okay in a matter of seconds. And sometimes the caster may not know it, and the chat. What is Twitch going to be doing, if anything?
Sure.
Are they going to be using the current kind of reporting team and how that all works to handle this? Are they going to be doing anything different? How is that going to work with this potential? Are you guys expecting an influx of these issues?
So I don't know that we are expecting an influx of issues, but I think that it's important for people to know who don't know how Twitch works. We have a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week moderation team. It's run by actual people. If a channel is reported, we have actual people that go, they review the content, and they analyze that on a case-by-case basis. So we do have a content team who is always available to moderate that content. And if there happens to be an influx, then we will build that team out accordingly. We're ready and always prepared to be able to face issues that potentially could arise on the site. So we are ready. We have the team built out. We have 24-hour-a-day support that review that content. They've already been doing that, and they've always been doing that. And this is just one more thing that we'll be able to review and look at. They're all prepped on the rules. It's all good to go.
Great.
No concerns. Nobody freak out. Nothing's on fire. We're all ready.
So if something I broadcast is not particularly IRL because I'm not really interacting, and I put it to not playing.
Correct.
They can only find me through the following.
They can find you if they're alerted to you, if they're subscribed or followed to you, they will definitely see that. Okay. But it won't show up in the directory. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So one question I have is, we have IRL now.
Yeah.
And we have not even gaming talk shows anymore. We have talk shows. How do I know what to put where?
So the general rule of thumb for talk shows is it's 2 or more people discussing some type of content, right? If it's just a singular person reviewing something, then typically that would be an IRL type environment. But I mean, obviously there's differences in stipulations. I know that you have a show where you're reviewing certain things and you're looking at that would fall under gaming talk shows. But the typical rule of thumb is that it's 2 or more people discussing a topic of some kind, whether it's sports or movies or video gaming or whatever it is. It would be an interactive discussion between those 2 people about that content.
So talk show is kind of when all the content is on the broadcaster's side.
Correct.
And then IRL is when the interaction community kind of pulls into.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's a fair rule of thumb.
This was one of the first questions I actually wrote down before I even saw this list of questions that I'm sure JP came up with. But the first thing that I want to know, almost every time something new is introduced, is on Twitch's side, how will this benefit the site and how will it benefit the broadcaster?
Right. So sometimes those things can coincide, right? It benefits Twitch if it benefits our broadcasters. And typically the way that we do things, we look at first, how does it benefit you? And then what does that mean for us? How do we go about that, right? So I think the immediate thing is you guys were talking earlier, you were playing a game and then you could go to social eating and you could eat with your stream and then you could turn around and go back into the game. This is a way for you to continue having those shared experiences with your community without going, well, I don't really want to break terms of service, so I'm going to just turn my stream off, right? So now you as a broadcaster have the ability to produce more types of content and almost unlimited ways, right? As long as they don't break our guidelines, you can continue to broadcast different things that you want to do. If you want to go to the gym, or if you want to share an experience that happens outside of your computer in your office, you can now do that, right? So that's a huge benefit. You can stream lots of different things. It also then brings people to the site who may not necessarily be huge gaming fans, but maybe they like viewing that type of content. And now they can do that. And little by little, those people say like, oh, well, I really like watching, Zeke when he, goes out, and I'm gonna keep using the gym. I don't, because that's like the one thing I have in my mind. But like,
I don't know why you would ever associate me with the gym.
I mean, you're getting a little buff there. So I was gonna compliment you the whole time.
Look out, ladies! Look out, Texas ladies, coming for you. I'm swole.
Yeah, so, they may say, I really like watching Zeke's IRL content, and now I might check out gaming, right? And they check out gaming, they realize they really like gaming, and then they go, hey, I know that Zeke does this show with Co, and now I'm going to watch Co's gaming. I'm going to watch that. Or maybe they see that you do IRL stuff, and they're like, oh, Co is in one of those things. I'm going to go check out his channel, right? And so sharing kind of people's interests and bringing on new users to the site because they're interested in things that a little bit of gaming, but they might be brought on by something else, that benefits everybody.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and it's actually kind of funny. It coincides with something that I promised to do it was a St. Jude goal.
Yeah.
That I had to exercise and lose weight for, like, if they reached a certain amount.
Yeah.
So now
and did they do that?
Yeah, they did. I have to lose 30 pounds.
See, you are gonna get swole.
Shut up, Scott. I've done it before. I can do it again.
Scott is like,
I've done it before. No, but like honestly, it's going to be like, because I'm going to start doing that like a weekly thing where I, exercise, do whatever, maybe play Let's Dance, or maybe I don't even have to play a game now.
Yeah.
I can just like talk to my chat, like have my chat up and chat with them while I'm like jogging on a treadmill or whatever the hell I choose to do. But
can you social eat and run on a treadmill at the same time?
While DJing.
I'll just steal some.
And drawing and Bob Rossing at the same time.
I'll just steal some of JP's Soylent while I'm on the
There we go.
Go.
Perfect.
Go to town.
It's social drinking. That's a little bit different.
So all of this kind of brings me to a question. So as you saw earlier, I didn't even really know about the not playing function.
Yeah.
I'm just a straight up gamer.
Yeah.
I like my gaming.
Yeah.
Now let's say I want to try some IRL stuff.
Sure.
And this is all kind of new.
Yeah.
Like how hawkish are you guys going to be about people that are using IRL? Like, am I going to get banned instantly if I don't switch properly? Like, how is this going to work?
I mean, as always, I think we've had times where like you switch games and you forget to switch the game category, and there's a little bit of delay there. There's going to be some leeway, and there's going to be some time that you're going to have if you're like, oh, I have to switch to IRL and I didn't really do it. We're understanding of those type of things, but we review those on a case-by-case basis, and so, the first couple times we'll say, hey, you need to change it, or we'll have someone change it for you, but, the responsibility rests on the broadcaster, and learning how this is always a process, so you need to make sure that you're doing it, but there is a little bit of leeway time from, like, you switching game categories to IRL. Now, misusing it is a completely different thing, so if you are not using IRL for the purpose that you're supposed to, if you just have a camera up in your house and you leave it going, that's obviously going to be something that our moderation team is going to reach out and say like, hey, that's not what IRL is for, and you need to make sure that you're setting the appropriate category. The default response is, if you're not sure, set it to not playing.
Okay, so I couldn't go to sleep and, for instance, claim that as interaction because I'm dreaming of chat.
No, no, you definitely can't sleep in IRL. I saw some tweets earlier from people that were like, oh, cool, I can sleep on stream now. No, that's not what IRL is for. You need to be actively engaged with the chat in order for it to be there.
But you can put it not playing. We live in the gray areas.
Everyone likes to live in the gray areas. Again, make sure that you are reading the community guidelines and not breaking those in order to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can I
you're
leave?
Playing with my heart right now is what you're doing.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I just hit my microphone. I'm so sorry. What are you doing? I'm so sorry.
These are questions that people are definitely going to be asking.
Yeah.
Now what about this? Can I just for someone, and this actually does pertain to me. For someone like me, the game choice doesn't matter a whole lot for me. That's not how I generate like hype or whatever. Can I just play games and leave it on IRL?
No, you need to be in the correct gaming category.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you need to, if you are playing a game, it should be like what the content is should be accurately reflected in the gaming category, or in the category now, I guess I should say. So if you're playing a game, it should be in that category. If it's not in that category, it needs to be not playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you like? I'm just curious, like you personally being an employee at Twitch, what do you say? Because this are the questions I wrote down myself. What do you say to the people who are saying Twitch is a gaming site?
I mean, I think that the one thing that a lot of Twitch users and a lot of broadcasters have in common is that we all started from a love of gaming, right? Mm-hmm. Again, as I've said before, gamers don't sit at their computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and just like, I know that's what people think, right? They like to think that we're just like surrounded in like piles of like Mountain Dew and Doritos. We never leave and we just sit there and play video games, but we all have other interests, right? And so Twitch is built as a community and as a response to people, and knowing that people don't sit at their computers and game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we have categories to allow you to express those interests in different ways, right? Twitch is gaming. Twitch is about gaming. Our majority of content that we produce is gaming. This is just a way for you to be able to share your other hobbies and interests on the same platform with the communities that you've built. Why would you want to abandon the community that you have just to be able to produce content that's not gaming? So we are allowing you now to do that on Twitch.
Well, if I may, just interject.
Maybe. What are you going to say?
Shut up. Interject my own opinion about this.
Sure.
When people talked about, like, said we're coming full circle, we're turning in Just TV, stuff like that, people forget, like, when Justin TV was a thing, gaming sprung out of that and blew up out of that.
And that's why Twitch was created.
And that's why I'm not afraid that gaming will almost, I'm almost positive gaming will still and forever onward be the center of Twitch, because Justin TV had vlogs, had, you know, people rebroadcasting copyrighted material back in the day, and all this kind of stuff. But what came out of it? Gaming came out of it and made it a completely new, you know, enterprise. Yeah. So I'm not scared that gaming will go away or that it'll, you know, become the not the spotlight. Right. Because I really think that it's just it's in the site's lifeblood.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the last things I wanted to ask you is, can I separate, in my videos or whatever, my VODs, can I separate IRL and gaming and that kind of stuff?
So we are going to be working on a feature in the next year where we will be able to create playlists for your uploads. So it'll be a separate tab on your upload. So you will be able to say, here's my IRL content, here's my gaming content. You can separate it in the ways that you would like to keep those things distinguishable.
So we wouldn't have to make like a vlogging channel.
Correct.
And we can actually...
Correct.
Oh, man.
And I can't tell you any more information about that. I already gave away that information. So just stay tuned to Twitch, but you will be able to separate that content going forward.
I want to
soon TM.
No, I know. I want to know if we can separate like even further. Like separate, like, this is my IRL content. This is my gaming content. This is my cooking content. This is my creative content.
You will be able to make playlists.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now we just have to work out how to make a lot of money off of that.
Soon TM. Step 3, profit. We're like missing step 1 playlist.
Step 1 playlist.
Step 2 question. Step 3 profit. We just got to figure out the step 2 for you. Yeah. Yeah. We'll give you the tools, and we're going to give you the clay. Please don't make a snake or anything else.
A snake.
You can say dicks.
No, I can't. Nope. Not today, Zeke.
All right, so I think we've covered most of what we were going to talk about. But
I hope so, yeah. And of course, there's going to be lots of questions. That's the other.
Well, that's actually exactly what I was going to get to. Like, where do them, the chat, and anyone that has questions about IRL, where can they go to get more information, ask questions, get answers?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Because
thanks, Aaron.
We have a handy link at link.twitch.tv/IRL feedback. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have feedback that you want to give, you can definitely go to link.twitch.tv/IRL feedback and be able to submit any of the things that you guys have. Again, I know people have a lot of questions. I know people are like, what does this mean? What is this? And we've tried to cover a lot of that there. Again, make sure that you read the new community guidelines and follow that, because we still do have a lot of guidelines, and there are rules, and there are ways that you can stream IRL. So make sure that you follow those before you just turn your camera on, flip it around, and start streaming. So make sure that you check those out.
And for me, anybody out there, if you have honest concerns that you want to voice, calm down. Type them without profanity. Type them without.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, it's fine if you say shit. You can say shit. One shit. You're allowed one shit. But love her face.
Not 2 though.
No,
just
2
1.
is right.
2's just out of line. Yeah, that's just.
I didn't
offensive.
see that in the community guidelines. See?
But no, seriously, if you have feedback, before you let your rage just take over, think about like what you really want to say. Calmly type it out, and you have a much better chance of getting a response.
Yeah.
That way.
And I think, as JP said earlier, Twitch has always listened to our community. It's why things like this are created, because we're listening, we're looking at your feedback, we're reading the responses, we're looking at our Twitter. So if you have those things, know that we're monitoring them, we're looking at them, we're addressing concerns, and we're always open to hearing feedback from our users and making it the best that we can.
Great. Well, big thank you, Aaron Wayne, for being here today. Really appreciate all the questions.
Thank you.
And I'm not exactly sure how to transition this segment. So, JP, you here?
Overlord JP.
Overlord
I think we might
JP.
be cutting to break.
Oh, are we cutting to break? Excellent. We're going to be cutting to a break in just a second here. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with our top 10 list in just a little bit. And yeah, thanks again to Aaron and this guy. See you all in a little bit.
I think